And I love the dodgy accountant. I thought, this is great. We're not paying any tax or very little tax. Oh, this is fantastic.
Hello and welcome to Level Up with Duayne Pearce. My dream is to improve the residential building industry for all involved. Throughout this podcast, we're going to be chatting to all types of industry experts to make sure that builders, tradies and clients all have a fantastic experience. All right, guys, we're back in the shed today with Level Up. So I've really been looking forward to this one. We're here with a real character today. I've got to know him probably over the last couple of years. Really genuine, really good quality bloke. So I'd like to introduce you to Dean from Ward Constructions. I'm very jealous of Dean and how he's living his life at the moment because he's doing some good stuff. But Dean, thanks a lot for coming today and having a chat. And do you want to let us introduce yourself, tell the guys a little bit about you, and just start off by how you got into the industry, really?
No worries, Duayne. Thanks for having me on. So
Yeah.
let's just have a bit of a chat. And
Actually, if anyone's wondering, Dean is into all sorts of crazy shit like me, and he's done a bit of damage
foot
to his
injury at
leg.
the
So
moment.
yeah.
If you see it come up, it's yeah.
He's actually turned up late today because he's just come back from Double Island. So
Little midweek trip just to break up the week. So, but it's So I'm Dean from Ward Construction, and we've sort of been going for about 6 years now, and it's just it's been going really well. I've really learned a lot sort of in the building industry, which has been fantastic. And yeah, we've had our ups and downs, and
yeah. So where did you where have you come from, mate? Like, did you finish year 10, year 12? Like, what sort of?
Yeah, well, I finished year 12. So
Yeah.
I had my job lined up with a private builder when it was start of year 12. He said, look, I don't have enough work yet, but finish year 12 and come back and kick on straight up.
Yeah.
And it was really good. I just played up in year 11, year 12. I was just there for fun.
You knew it was coming.
I knew it was coming. I always knew I wanted to be a builder. I was always making things with my hands and thinking outside the box and just creating.
Yeah.
And I just loved it. I just knew when I was 5 years old I was going to be a builder. So
Yeah, same, mate. Same. And a little bit I know about you. Are you a city boy or are you from the bush?
Yeah, so I grew up in Brisbane, but always just used to get away to the bush and camping and properties, and
Yeah.
that's just where my heart and soul is. I'm not meant to be in Brisbane for too long, or big cities.
Yeah.
And it was, really didn't have any sort of family experience in the building industry with electricians or any sort of trade, so I just loved it. Loved creating. So yeah, finished year 12, went to schoolies, and then I literally started work on the Monday and didn't stop.
Yeah,
And
right.
I was just loving it. Got in with a really good builder. Still to this day, the best builder I know. But unfortunately, when the GFC hit, he went bankrupt. He went through a divorce and a GFC all in one hit.
Yeah.
Tried to save the business, save his house. And it was sad. So I finished up with him second year apprentice.
Yeah.
And then one of his mates put us on, which just a completely different atmosphere. He was just the polar opposite of what he was all about.
Yeah.
Because with him, we learnt the old school way. His dad was about 62, and he taught me everything I know.
Yeah.
So he used to build these houses by himself, and he just taught all the little tricks that aren't getting taught now. Like,
Yeah.
to me right now, it's a dying trade we specialise in renovating Queenslanders, and it's a dying trade.
Oh, mate, the way they do it now with they even separate the apprenticeship. Like, you can do a whole apprenticeship just framing or just doing fit outs, and people call themselves carpenters, and they're not.
Yeah, it's not. And even to this day, we do slab prep to roofing jobs.
Yeah.
Big roofs we get our roofers in, but
Yeah.
I like to mix it up as well. Like, I like to teach my guys new skills, and
Yeah.
we're not the quickest at it, but it mixes up. We love doing it. And
Yeah. Oh, I love your work, mate. I see a lot of your stuff you do on social media. Like, you do a lot of the old school cutting in stairs and all that sort of thing.
yeah, we do a lot of that. I'm terrible on social media. I don't even give my clients my Instagram because it's half the time it's dogs and camping and not much to do in the building game.
It's all the good stuff, mate.
Yeah.
So it's all what we work for.
It is, yeah. So we did. I finished my apprenticeship. The boss who we were working for, he wasn't nice to work for. He wasn't good. It wasn't a good environment. So I left after that, got signed off and left. And I did my own thing for about 3 months. And it's a good time because you realise how much you actually know and you surprise yourself. But then very quickly you learn how much you don't know, and it gets quite sort of overwhelming. And the plan was to never go out on my own so early. Like,
Yeah.
I think it'd be crazy to put a 20-year-old builder on for big jobs or so.
Yeah.
So I went and subbied, worked for another company for about a year and a half, and then they got quiet. I think I busted up with the missus, and so I took off. The plan was to go right up to the tip and keep travelling.
Yeah.
And I didn't get there. I sort of ended up around Gladstone, Rocky, and got in with a really good boss, and I was there for 4 years. So
Yeah, right.
it's it was just all we did was drink rum and ride horses for 4 years, and it was fantastic. We had so much fun.
Yeah.
And it was and then my boss had 30,000 acres up there as well. So
Cheers.
yeah, it was just an awesome property. I had the fencing contract up there to do 50k of fencing, and we did 25 cattle grids, and so on that as well. We cut all the timber, we debarked them, and we just cruised. We did all.
So how did you learn that? Like, did you get taught that up there, or was that just something you self-taught? Or
Pretty well, yeah. I've always been a big believer that things happen to you for a reason. And when I was in high school, I had 2 of my lungs collapsed in high school. So I was meant to go on a scuba diving camp, which I couldn't go with my collapsed lungs. So I ended up going on a Jillaroo Jackaroo camp, which I wanted to go anyway. But just from that point, I got along really well with the family.
Yeah.
And they just said, look, come up whenever you want. So school holidays, I was up there, just driving around the property as a 16 or 17-year-old. I used to catch the train up, go to the property, and just dick around for 2 or 3 weeks. Like that was my kind of fun.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, and that sort of just kept driving your passion to...
Yeah, well, that was in year 11. Year 12, I did that. And then 5 years later, I got sick of being in Brisbane. So I just called them back up and said, hey, what's going on? Can I come back up? And no worries. So I went back up, and then it all started from there. And then I left that property and then headed to town, and then got in with another company, another boss. And so I didn't actually pick up tools for about 4 years, and didn't do any sort of building work for 4 years.
Yeah.
And we just chased cows and drank rum and rode bikes and shot guns, and it was just...
Going pigging and
it was just
chasing bulls.
Yeah, it was living the dream. But there's not much growth in a lot of these small towns, and I wanted to start my construction business, and it just wasn't a place to do it. So it was definitely time to come back to Brisbane and start the business. So we started in 2015, and we it just went from there. And it was just all word of mouth, and we just sort of kept going. And I've always been pretty good with talking to people and communicating.
You're a character, like you. I think you. I think you just glow, mate. Like you're a good talker. You like the few years that I've known you, you're just a really good character to be around. I think you're a very good, honest, down to earth bloke.
Oh, thanks. I definitely try to be, and it's just where a lot of builders actually fall as well, where they're not honest. I don't know where it's sort of coming, where builders think they need to lie, whether it's an ego thing or they're scared to get in trouble. But at the end of the day, we're all human.
Yeah, I don't know. I think a big thing with our industry is, and I know I probably had a little bit of an issue with it for a while. I think you're afraid to admit what you're doing wrong, so you just talk shit. Yeah. And that's what gets a lot of us into trouble.
Yeah, and talking shit is part of being a builder. I think to be a builder, you've got to talk a bit of shit, but it's how you juggle your jobs, but behind that there's always honesty and truth, and just take accountability for your fuck ups. Like don't lie to the owners, because they'd rather you be straight up with them, coming with solutions, rather than, because they'll catch you out, and then it just goes down here from there. People lying to their subbies that they've paid bills, or if I can't pay a bill at my timber supplier, it's a phone call. I said, mate, I just need 2 more weeks. No worries.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get stuck. Like, it'd be good to hear your opinion on it. Like, so many of us, and we touched on it before when we were talking just before we got started, but I was the same, exactly what you were talking about. Like, you finish your time, you go out and you have a bit of a blowout, and then you come back and you start, like I started subbing, and you get offered these jobs, like it's a cashier, it's a carton of beer here, and before you know it, it's growing and getting more and more work. And so we're excellent tradies, but we never get taught how to be a business. And it's in our mind that we're a tradie, but you go from being a tradie to becoming a business. And a lot of people don't. And I definitely didn't. Like, I didn't realise what was involved.
No, and you definitely don't. If I could do my time again, I would sub it for another 12 months or even 2. And I'd do a business course before I even started about starting a business. I would do a business course, because the advice I spoke to 3 or 4 builders when I first started. I said, look, give me some tips. What can I do? How do I do this? And they all said, oh, just same way we did, learn the hard way.
Yeah, well, mate, that's the industry. Like the
And
industry is so backwards, and I know that's one of my sort of things. When I was the same. I was always trying to talk to people, ask advice, and so many people would just say, like, if I was having a problem with a client or a contract or whatever, and so many builders I would speak to would just say, mate, that's the industry, deal with it. And I just sort of got to a point where I was like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not dealing, like,
Yeah.
we can solve this. Like, we need to be more professional.
Yeah.
We need to learn. We need to educate ourselves.
Yeah.
But I think, like, looking back now, I hated school. I couldn't wait to get out of there. But, and if anyone said to me that you had to do such and such amount of experience or training to be a builder, it probably would have got to a point where I wouldn't have done it because I didn't like that classroom side of it. But my advice now to anybody out there, because I know there's going to be a lot of guys out there and girls that are in the same position that I've been in, that you've been in, where you want to be the builder or the tradie, you want to have the business, but then you don't know how to do it, and you're just constantly in this revolving horrible cycle where you're chasing your tail, you've got no cash flow, but you don't understand what it takes to get out of that. And like my view is now, and like I've been through, I want to talk to you about, like I've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars from looking back now. It was all my own fault. Like, it was nobody else's fault but mine. But I believe I could have avoided all that if I had done more, like spent more time, money and energy on myself, educating myself, going to seminars, going to courses, and I just didn't. I just didn't.
Yeah, and it's hard now. Like, I was flat out getting my apprentice to take plans home to read. Where when I was an apprentice, I was asking to take the plans home, give me a copy. And I wasn't going out clubbing. I was buying tools. Like, that was my passion, buying tools. And I haven't heard of any apprentices. So you hear the odd one come through he's fantastic. But it's kind of just not what it was. We were so grateful that we had a job and going to work and working overtime and working Saturdays. It was just what it was about. I was a tradie. Like, it's
oh mate, well look, I don't know. I think it's one of those. It gets to me a little bit sometimes. Like I was that apprentice. I appreciated my job. Like Christmas time, I would give my boss a bottle of rum. Whereas these days, it's all about what am I getting? I've worked hard all year. What are you giving me? Like for a start, I've given you a job. I've paid your wages every week. Like you're not on the dole. But tell us a little bit about, because I know lots of guys and girls listening will resonate with this, because I think there's so many people out there that are dealing with difficult times, situations, and like I did, you think it's only you. Like you think, fuck, why is this always me? But tell us a little bit about, like I know you've had some tough times. Tell us a little bit how you got into that and what happened.
Just inexperience. It's always loved building and the work we did, and I think having 4 years off as well, I came back pretty rusty, which in my head I still had it. And you start throwing the nail bag back on, and you kind of lost your touch a little bit. But we did this one job, so it was first job back. It was for a mate of a mate. We're no longer mates now, but raise and build under. Oh, sorry, it wasn't a raise and build under, it was a dig under. So it was already about 1.5 up. So we dug down about a metre or so. Retaining walls right round. It was all just dodge from the start. So the owner, he drew the plans, certified, stamped them off saying, yep, approved. And then engineer drew it up. So as the builder, I built to the plans. Engineer had 4 inspections on the retaining wall, but it was 4 retaining walls and we went straight down.
So what sort of, was it block retaining wall?
Block retaining wall, so it was a corner block job. And so we just did 4 retaining walls around. Lucky it wasn't huge. It was probably say 6 by 6. And he just wanted a bit of extra room and didn't want to spend the cost to raise up. Which, like hindsight, it's cheaper to raise. Like it's not. By the time we did termite protection and the earthworks, with limited access, like it just. But anyway, so we priced this job. First job I've done, massively underquoted it. Like it was 80 grand I charged for this job, and it was just. I was so happy. I was thinking 80 grand. Like, how good's this? And massively underquoted it, and we had. I realised pretty soon that I underquoted the job, and the owner, he actually gave me an out. I think we had the retaining walls were done, and he said, look, do you want to walk away? And we'll just start again and walk away. And I don't know whether it was my ego or it was my integrity that, like, I shook his hand and said, I'll do this for you. But I said, no. I've given you my word, I'll finish it for you. Like, that's my fuck up, that's not yours.
So his first job off the bat, that's a pretty big move.
Yeah, it's and
like,
it was
knowing that you're not going to make money out of it.
Yeah, it was. I couldn't even afford rent or food. My missus was paying my rent and my food for me, and I was working there 6 till 6, just trying to get it done, just to get onto the next job. And there wasn't even a thought in my head that to go, we're packing up shop. Like, I just started. I didn't have an option. I'd got to finish this job.
Yeah.
So yeah, borrowed about 20 grand off mum and dad, and got a credit card, 15 grand credit card, and maxed that out. But the whole time I was honest with my trades. I told them I massively underquoted it. They'll get paid, but if you can look after me the best you can, I'd appreciate it. But it's also not your fuck up. So it's let's just, and pretty well every one of them said, look, we're in this together. We'll look after you, and let's just get it done and move on. So it was and unfortunately with my moral compass, I couldn't drop my standard.
Yeah.
I didn't cut corners. We didn't do anything. It was literally just done by the book, and let's get out of there.
Yeah.
So we, long story short, we did that. Waterproofed everything, footings, retaining wall slab, waterproofed, built to code, everything. And he ended up selling the place. Don't know how much, but he made a couple hundred grand profit on it because he bought it for cheap, and then he got an awesome deal, and then he sold it. So this owner, he's got jet skis, he's living the life after my sort of fuck up with a deal of a lifetime. But I never held a grudge against him. It is what it was. It's my fuck up. So he sold the place. So to this couple, small family, really nice people. I got to know them because the job actually failed. The retaining wall failed. And
it's not the way you want to get to know someone, but...
No, it was a phone call, and I got a phone call saying, hey, they introduced themselves, and they said, hey, we've got a leak in the retaining wall. So I was going, fuck. So went around there, and the retaining wall leaked, and there was about a 50 ml of water. Luckily, there was a bathroom downstairs, so we just squeegeed it all down the drain. And that was the start of it. We started going to insurance companies and seeing what happened, and we had investigations, and they said, what's happened? The waterproofing's failed. We'll go through insurance, yada, yada. So once I thought that job was done, and now I'm back there again. So it was limited access sites. So I got machines again, digging out the retaining wall, re-waterproofed the wall, cut all the gyprock back at 1200 because it started to go mouldy, started again, pulled the bathroom out, internal walls, and just finished it. So like I was saying, it was only about a 6x6 dig out.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a massive home, which saved me, but... so we did that.
So what happened? Like, insurance wouldn't come to the party?
Yeah, insurance came to the party, but I think they only covered around 30 grand or so. They actually wouldn't cover any of the earthworks or the waterproofing or anything. It was just kind of the cosmetic damage, the paint in the gyprock inside.
Yeah.
And me being green as well and not sort of dealing with insurance companies and whatnot. End of the day, I should have fought that a bit harder because what happened, it came back to me as a builder because on the plans, the engineer only drew 2 red lines where the retaining wall was. Like, these plans were basic. There was nothing flash till, and there was very low elevations. But the engineer, he knew what it was. We had 4 inspections. He looked at the wall. He knew exactly what it was. But because he forgot to leave the 2 red lines off the plans, because I went through lawyers as well, and they said, look, you've gone off the plans, so those plans are kind of void. It's on you as a builder. And so we've gone back and forward, and I went, I'm all about taking accountability. Like, if it was my fuck up, I'll own that. But I don't see that as my fuck up because I've built to the plans. He's just forgot to put the 2 lines on. So anyway, we were a week from handover, and I was stoked, got through it again. And then I get a phone call. We had a big storm come through, and it leaked again. The retaining wall leaked again. And I'm just going, it's the job that just keeps on giving. So back there again, and we had... I out of my pocket, I got forensic engineers to see what was going wrong, and because we were so much lower than the street, all it was an ag line around it with a rubble pit beside it with no pumps or anything. So all that happened, that when we got that much rain, it just filled up, became a swimming pool, and the head pressure actually pushed it up under the footing in between the cold joint between the slab and the footing, and it was coming in through that way.
Yeah.
So same again, back and forward through lawyers going, what do we do? Where do we go from here? And it's just all the unbillable hours, the sleepless nights, everything that's around this. And this is in year 2 of being in business.
Yeah.
So we got no profit. We've got nothing coming in. Same again, the thoughts go, where do we go from here? And I joked to the client saying that, look, the options are, one, I jump on a plane and I fuck off to Bali. Like that's kind of my option one at the moment. Or we find a way to fix this.
Yeah.
And QBCC got involved, and not to give any directions, but they spoke to one of their friends and they said, look, you need to notify QBCC, which is fine, and they're useless. Some of them are telling you, yep, as soon as we come to site, you've got a direction. Others are saying, no, that's not it at all. We'll have a mediator come out to actually... So there's a lot of confusion there because I don't want to get a direction on my licence because there's no direction needed because we are rectifying. But I don't want that on my licence either. So, but after all that, we...
So you got it fixed? It's all sorted?
Yeah, well, the only way I could sleep at night, like we looked at all options, whether... My second option was a cash settlement with the owner. I'll give them a cash settlement and just walk away from the job and they can deal with it, which they didn't like that idea either, which... I'd put it out there, but so the only two options were that we do it all again. We put sump pumps in, but then with sump pumps we need battery backup systems, and then who pays for the maintenance on them? And I couldn't sleep comfortably at night knowing that every storm I could be getting a phone call saying, hey, your pump's failed or whatnot. Yeah. So I said, look, and very grateful for the owners, but I said, look, if you guys can put in 10 grand, I'll actually fill the hole in and we'll raise your house and we'll do it properly how it should have been done the first time. And they thought about it and they came to the party. They put in 10 grand of their money. I put a bit through insurance and then I covered the rest.
What?
And we just filled the retaining wall in, poured a new slab and raised the house. And to me, that was the only way to sort of get to that point without actually, so I could sleep at night.
So that, mate, pretty powerful story, because I got some stories that it cost me hundreds of $1,000s like that as well. And like for younger people, and I was no different. Like you want to be a builder, and building takes a hell of a lot of experience. And like you touched on then, and we've got another situation actually just that's going on at the moment. But at the end of the day, we get given drawings. Like we're not the designer, we're not the engineer, we're not the certifier.
And sometimes there's very little detail on those drawings as well, and it's up to us on site to
and we
make it work.
Even when there is a lot of detail, like our job, my belief is that as a builder, we get given documentation, and it's our job to build what's on that documentation. It shouldn't. Obviously we need to know a lot. Like we have to know how to install materials and warranties and all those types of things. But there is so much pressure put on us as builders. Like there are so many things that should be getting sorted before it gets to us. Yeah. Like why specify a product in a home or a cladding or anything if you haven't done your homework and made sure that product is fit for purpose or that it's going to last a certain like all that type of stuff. And like for guys out there that are young, just getting into the industry, like it's a minefield.
It is. And that would be some advice to the young fellas who are looking at starting a business, or even for builders now, is know your risk and liabilities. Because I found out the hard way of my risk and liabilities, and they're huge. It's not just throwing a beam up or doing a retaining wall. Really understand what's at stake, and is it worth the risk versus reward? Yeah. And because when you weigh them up, you'll charge accordingly. So if you get a phone call in 6, 7, 10 years time, structural's for life. So if you get a call, and I know 6 stories of guys getting pulled out of retirement to fix structural issues that they did once they shut their company down and everything. So really know your liabilities and risks.
And look, I definitely don't want to scare people out of the industry, because at the end of the day, it's an incredible industry. It can be very, very rewarding, but
just educating young builders on advice I wish I got when I was starting out. And really understand, set the company up properly from day one, and have good company structures and get a really good accountant. I had a dodgy accountant and we didn't pay tax for 3 years. So after, when I got a new accountant, I had an 80 grand ATO bill I had to back pay. Going, what do you mean? And just not knowing she was dodgy. And I loved a dodgy accountant. I thought, this is great. We're not paying any tax or very little tax. Oh, this is fantastic. You want a dodgy accountant. And now all I want is an accountant by the book, and my accountant now is obviously fantastic. But you won't beat the ATO. Like, you just set things up properly from the start.
But it's all that thing that you just, and this is that transition from going from a tradie and a builder to actually being a business. Like and look at, like, at the end of the day, everyone wants to try and push the boundaries and keep more money in their pocket. But there is so much. Like my thing is, like, I don't think there is any industry out there that has the responsibilities, liabilities that a builder does. Like, like I said, like you have all these other professionals, certifiers, engineers, bloody
doctors,
designers,
lawyers, everyone,
architects that put all the information onto a document before it gets to us, and yet we're completely liable for it. And and like we touched on before, like you go from being that, like, finishing your time, becoming a tradie, getting offered a few cashies here, there on the weekends, and like I remember even doing jobs for mates and that. We're like, oh, we'll put on all the piss and we'll give you a hand. And like, I built under houses, I built bedrooms, did bathrooms, and you don't think anything of it, but then you start getting work that goes beyond a weekend and starts eating into your week, and then you get to a point where you've got enough work to work for yourself, and before you know it, you're full time, and you might put on an apprentice or another bloke or whatever, but you still haven't. But you're still charging those cashy type rates. And it can take over. Like, it starts snowballing, and before you know it, you've been in business 2 years. You haven't done your tax properly. You haven't sat back and gone, oh shit, what is it actually taking for me to run my business? Like,
but meanwhile, you got stubby coolers and banners and like all the exciting things that is great for a young business. Because I remember getting so excited, getting hoodies made up and spending hundreds of dollars on uniforms and hoodies and that, which is great. But didn't know the fundamentals of running a business. So we looked the part, and the work we were doing and getting heaps of work coming through, but spending it just as quick as it was coming in. And it all caught up with us.
Well, it's that other, like, I definitely got stung with that one. Like, you start doing contracts, and you're getting draws in for whatever, like 60 grand, 100 grand, like, and then we started, the turnover really started cranking, and like, you'd have a few draws come in that are 100 grand, 150 grand each, and like, fuck, got 300 grand in the bank. Fuck, that boat's looking good. And then it took me a long time to understand in my head what was actually mine, what was the tax man's, and what was the businesses, and what was the on-site costs. And it's like I in our business now, like, we pretty much do the profit first thing, where we got all different bank accounts, and we pay the tax, we pay the profit first, and then we pay bills. And that's been a big game changer to helping me understand. Well, I shouldn't say that, because the number one thing that got me to where I am and understanding things is my account manager, Sharon. Like, she's been with me, I think, nearly 14, 15 years now, and she's just incredible with the numbers. For so many years, I still got into trouble. Like, she was trying to teach me the numbers, but I didn't. Like, I just didn't get it. I didn't understand it. But
you have to understand your numbers. I'm the same. Still, I said to my accountant this week, I said, I don't want to know. I said, that's your job. But it's not. It's if you're running the business, like, it's your show. You need to know your numbers. You need to know your figures. Forecast and really track your jobs, which we don't do that now. Like, we don't have too many systems in place. And we'll talk about it a bit later on, but me stepping away from the industry for a little bit, and then when we come back, we'll have systems. We'll have we'll be running a better business.
So talk us, like, obviously, so you've been through all that shit, you've sorted it out. So that's done now. That's done and dusted.
Yeah, it's all done.
Gone?
So over 2 years, that job cost me 150 grand out of my pocket. And haven't had any phone calls. They actually called a couple of weeks ago that they want some more work done there. But I've kind of said too much PTSD to sort of go back to that job.
So you moved on from that. Like I said, I've seen your work on Instagram. You do fantastic work. So obviously you've got through that. You've shouldered on. You're still running a building business. Still running a business,
and we just had ups and downs. Just loved it. Just loved being the principal contractor, organising, talking to the trades, and I just loved being that guy on site. And I had dreams of getting, running 3 crews, sort of similar size what you're sort of running now, and a couple of my mates have just got 3, 4 big jobs on the go, and that's what I wanted. Like, that was my dream. And then after sort of seeing what my mates were going through, I soon learned I love camping and fishing too much to be running these jobs. Like, these guys look like they're drained, they're stressed. And for the rewards they were getting, it wasn't huge. They were having the same issues, still cash flow issues, and the more guys you have, the more issues and just little bitchiness on site.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't about that. I'd rather...
I think, sorry, mate, but like so many, I reckon there'll be so many guys and girls out there that are in this position where like they think they're killing it, but they're only earning a little bit more than what they could be earning as a chippy or something.
Yeah.
So they've got all the stress, they got all the turnover, they got all the responsibility.
Yeah.
And like, because I got to that point where I was like, fuck, I could go and get a supervised job for 150 grand. Like, why am I running the business, having all this stress and responsibility when I could go and work for someone else and like do my 8-9 hours a day and have my weekends off? But, like, and it's, you've got to change that mindset. Like when you are a builder running a building business, you have to be getting paid. Like, so you like you ultimately, like you should be getting a salary from the business for the role you play in the business. Yeah. And then the business should be making a profit on top of that. That's your bonus. Like, And that's so many people are working for wages.
And I've been there. And that's where I found it hard with running a small crew, with trying to be off the tools to quote, to keep jobs rolling in, but then also being on the job as well. So we're sort of making as much money as we can. And we don't have enough guys to be off the tools completely. And it was just the late nights. You know, some night it would be 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning that we're still quoting, then up at 5 again. And I just got over that lifestyle as well. I just wasn't enjoying it. And then this year we actually took a bit of a step back. Sort of forecasted a bit with the last year with the material shortage coming in and everything that's happening in the industry. I went, look, I'm just going to go back to me and my tradie. We're going to take on smaller jobs between the, say, 20 to 100 grand. And we're making more money now than what we did last year, just with higher profit margins.
Well, not high. I would say you're making what you should be making.
Pretty well, yeah. Like, we just lost so much sort of money last year in labour. Just labour alone on jobs. They just took too long, and then me not being on site, the guys taking too long, and it's just an absolute killer. So we just took a step back this year with the idea that I'm probably going to step away for a little bit next year and just go camping and.
All right, let's get on to that. Let's get on to the good stuff. What's your plan? So you want to step back from the industry for a bit?
For a little bit. I think the industry will even come to a halt. That's just my sort of forecast. I think early next year. I think we'll sort of get through this year. But if the way it's going, I can really see a lot of clients getting let down this year when Chrissy hits. It's already a pretty stressful period for us as it is. It might not be the builder's fault. It'll be supply or trades. It could be anything. But I don't think a lot of builders are also communicating that to the clients. So I think there's going to be a lot of clients let down this year. And I just didn't want to go through that. I was so we stepped back, just taking on a few smaller jobs. And we're booked up till Chrissy now, so we've got plenty of work coming up. But something just changed me. I lost my passion for the industry. We're just working in Brisbane. I'm just not enjoying it. I just love camping too much. I love fishing, motorbike riding, and I'm just in my adventure stage where I just want to get out. And I follow all these guys on Instagram, and all they do is drive their Land Cruisers and they just travel to Australia. And I'm like, that's me. Like that's what I want to be doing right now. So I've always been about living in the now. You hear these stories now of, people getting cancers all through their life and dying and not living it. And I know people who have died young and people who have worked their whole life to 50 to retire, and then they fall off a horse and they die. And it's so I'm all about living in the now. So right now, I'm, You're
loving it.
Just loving it, yeah. So I was at Stratty last weekend for 4 days, and then...
You showed up late today because you went double on.
Just for the night. Just went up there for the night. Had
throw the slag in the back.
That's it. Sunset, sunrise, and home again. So
it's bred into us, but isn't it? Like I know growing up, like everyone just spoke about I'm going to work till I'm 50. I'm going to work till I'm 55.
Yeah.
Like then I'll do what I want to do. But
yeah. It's the biggest rort there is. You work for 60 years and then you get 10 years of freedom to do what you want.
And by the time you get there, you're too old and stuff to really enjoy it anyway. Like my big passion now is, we've had a few health issues around our family and stuff this year, which has put a halt on a few holidays and things. But like our whole drive for business is we want to be on holidays when the kids are on holidays. Yeah. Like I don't want to be 50 and like I want to be holidaying now with the kids when I can enjoy it. I can still go out in the surf or jump on a motorbike or do that sort of thing.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about. It's spending time with the family and just living life.
I think as builders, like that's there's this sort of mentality there that when a client signs a building contract, like they're yours, like or you're theirs. Like they can contact you at all hours of the day and night, weekends, like all that type of stuff. Like I'm constantly getting told stories from lots of builders. Like I got this one from one builder, a really great guy, husband and wife team, run an incredible business, but they don't set expectations with their clients, and they've got a really young family, couple of little kids, and he tells me this story where it was the first, like they've got, I can't remember the age of the kid, but they say they've got a toddler and then they had another baby, and it was about 12, 18 months later, and it was the first night, Saturday night, that they'd actually had a babysitter and gone out on a date, 8:30 at night in a restaurant on a Saturday, and his phone's ringing and it's clients.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you didn't answer it, did you? He's like, oh yeah. Like, I'm like, mate, what is, like, but for me, there's two things there. Like for me, you shouldn't answer that anyway. But the other side of that is the clients think they can do that.
Yeah.
Like the clients think that's acceptable.
And they'll push those boundaries. We had a client at the first meeting. I said, hey, look, our hours are between say 6:30 and 6.
Yeah.
Anything after that, I won't answer.
Yeah.
If you want, shoot me an email, because if I'm in the office, I might get back to you. But I won't answer phone calls or texts. Yeah. Literally, we signed the contract, and she sent me a message it was like 6:05. Hey, I know you said you finish at 6, but I just had this quick question. I just went, you're kidding me. Like,
you didn't respond, did you?
No, I didn't reply.
Because you only got to do it once, and they've got you. Like if you do it once, they're going to keep doing it and doing it.
That's right. It was like the little test to see what they could get away with. It's almost like she sat there till after 6 to go, we'll see who sort of runs the show. And I was filthy at it, but didn't reply. But we used to get the same thing, clients texting and calling at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and I was answering. Yeah. And being that pleaser, like just wanted to be the best I could and help them. Yeah. But then I was never present at home. Yeah. I would be having dinner or would be, and then you start having the arguments and the fights at home, and then you start getting separation, and it's I've been through it. So
and it's funny because like those the people that are doing that, like they wouldn't accept that. No. Like whether they've got their own business or they work a 9-to-5 job or whatever, but like it's no, like I don't go and see my doctor in the morning and then like 8:30 at night go, oh shit, I forgot to ask him that, hang on, I'll just give him a call. Yeah. Like it just doesn't happen, but people know that. Yeah. And like at the grocery shop, like like I don't know, most shops shut at 9 o'clock at night. Like you can't knock on the door. You can't knock on the door at like 5:09 and go, hey, I forgot to get me groceries. Yeah. And
I think with this awareness, it's teaching every builder to set those boundaries, and hopefully in 10, 15 years, people just know you don't call your builder after hours. Like they're shut down. Yeah.
No, mate, everyone listening to this they're going to set their boundaries. So, but mate, look, it's so where do you see yourself going? Like obviously the industry has given you a hard time. You've accepted it. You've sort of worked your way out of it. Yeah. You're going to go and travel and enjoy yourself. And then what do you see for the future? Yeah,
it's like I was saying before, I felt like the industry has been pushing me out since I started, which I definitely don't think it is. Like I've learnt so much from the building industry with even better craftsmanship and managing teams and conflict and finances and contracts, and I've learnt so much. So I'll be able to utilise that sort of where we're sort of heading. Yeah. And it's been fantastic. So I don't really know what the plan for next year is. It might be 2 weeks travelling. It might be 2 years. I don't really have a plan, but the idea is just sort of get the cruiser set up, and then I'll travel for a little bit of just the coastline, but then I want to get back on working rural properties. Yep. A lot of these properties they can't get builders and they can't get workers out there. So I'll just have the cruiser set up. I'll tow the chippy trailer, and we'll just find these properties, and we might be there for 2 weeks. We might be there for 6 months. Who knows? If they want a renovation done, we'll jump on that. If they want a bit of cattle work or yard done, we'll also jump on that as well.
So it'll go from wood construction to wood travelling and camping, working and camping.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So next year it will just be like a working camping sort of holiday lifestyle for me next year. Yeah. And I'm really looking forward to it. So I'll probably sort of be based around the sunny coast, and then and if I have to, which I've done in the past, just fall back on the trade if you need a couple grand and we'll just come back subby for a little bit. And I've always said I wouldn't go back subbing because I don't like working for people and I like working for myself. So, but it's always just in the back of your mind that it's, I'm also happy to live pretty simple. And, you know, if I can catch a fish for tea, then that's my dinner. Catch another one for brekkie. Or
so tell us, like, you've definitely inspired me. Like, some people might know, like we have that builders breakfast group here in Brisbane, first Thursday of every month. We catch up. We've got a really great group of guys. But yeah, Dean's done this mischief to his foot and turned up to the last meeting just absolutely glowing. And the rest of us are sitting around. We've all been dealing with this COVID and material shortages and price increases, and he turned up looking like he's been on holidays for 10 years.
Yeah, it was, I felt bad. So we obviously went around in the circle and everyone was just saying how stressed they are and issues and sicknesses and everything going on. And it sort of got to me and I went, I'm doing great.
Yeah,
like, I don't want to bring everyone down.
It was inspiring, mate. Dean's actually put me on to, so I want you to let us know what you've been doing. So Camille and I are pretty keen. We're going to go up this Sunday and have a crack at it. So, but tell us, I've never done anything like it. I'm pretty like you spoke me through your experience, so I'm pretty keen to give it a crack.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I've only been up there a couple of times so far, but they're called Cool to Be Conscious, and they're awesome what they're doing. It's really around just mental health and breath work, and even now we've lost the touch how to breathe. A lot of us are mouth breathers, and it's just really connecting just like the mind, body and soul. And I think the biggest thing right now, we have such disconnect with ourselves, with nature, with each other, especially with everything with the virus right now. There's a massive divide, and there shouldn't be. Like we're humans. It doesn't matter what your views are on it. We're still people. We're a human race, and we should have conflict there. But there's a lot of dark energy sort of out there at the moment. So I think it's so good right now to get back in touch with nature. And just the energy down there, like they'll have 200 guys on the beach and women and blokes and just doing breath work and just that energy. It's next level. Like it's guided breath work, but like my hands tingle and they get like T-Rex hands where it's actually hard to open your hands again. It's actually pretty powerful stuff. So yeah, they do that. They also run stuff where they do ice baths as well. So I've actually just got my chest freezer at home, and I do ice baths at home, and it's.
Oh man, I'm all for it. I love the Wim Hof stuff. I do the cold showers. I must admit I've been pretty slacked during winter, but I think for me that cold shower, and ever since we moved out here in the bush, the water's fucking a lot more colder than it was where we were. But for me, it's been really good, like having the mindset to stand there for 2 minutes and just take it. Yeah. And then it only takes so long and it actually becomes really refreshing. Yeah. Everyone you talk to there, they thrive on it. Like I love it. I'm in the early stages, so I could probably only sort of stay in the freezer for about a minute and a half at the moment. But that's at 2 degrees. So I want to sort of get to that 3 minute mark, but it's just the mental toughness sort of behind it. Yeah. And I think that's where a lot of people don't have the resilience there these days. Well, it's just easy, isn't it? It's just easy to get in and have a hot shower. It's nice. Like, I love a hot shower. Yeah. But like I like with the Wim Hof stuff, like he says, like we've all lost touch. Like we're meant to be with minimal clothing on and we're meant to be out in the heat and in the cold and adjust our body temperature and shit. And we've all just, like everything's so easy now. We have hot showers. We get hot. We bloody got cool shit we can put on. We get cold. We can wrap up. Like, definitely. It's lucky I've got a shoe on today. Like, a lot of times I don't even wear shoes because it's. I just love walking around in nature just barefoot. It's awesome. And I always have had a strong connection with animals and nature, and the ocean. And that's what's just calling me right now is get back there. It's I drive through. We're working on sort of Annerley at the moment and just have no interest at all to be stuck in traffic. You get half depressed coming back from the coast. Oh mate, since we got the van and we've been doing a few trips out west and that or wherever it is, I you're coming back towards Brisbane and like on the dirt I'm in my element. Yeah. You get to like a single lane of bitumen, it's all good. You get to like 1 lane each way and then as soon as you get to double lanes, you're like, fuck, I'm back to reality. Yeah. You're back in the big smoke. Yeah. And it's I'm in a position now where I don't have kids, I don't have mortgages. I've literally got it really simple right now.
So I can understand how sometimes people can feel stuck with, they just get stuck on their job and we've got to do this, we've got to pay the bills.
Yeah.
But I don't think you're stuck. You just got to find a way and a family to do it with. But you can always pivot and go a different direction.
But you don't have to work hard, mate, if you don't want much.
Well, that's right. And that's where I'm at now. I'm just pivoting. Like I was saying, it might be 2 weeks, it might be 2 years. I'm not too sure, but we might touch on it a little bit later on as well. But just a new direction that I'm sort of looking at with sort of really wanted to get in working with underprivileged kids. And I'm sure I've got ADHD, something there. And just working with these people like in schools, like in school, I couldn't focus and just getting yelled at. And then when you get yelled at, you get embarrassed, you shut down. And then you don't do well at school. But I'm not meant to be in a classroom. I'm meant to be out there throwing sticks and chasing the birds around.
I like that you've touched on this because everyone's going to have mixed views on this, but if you're in that position now, because I was the same. Like at school, I hated sitting there. I couldn't concentrate. I didn't want to be there. And yeah, if you go to a doctor, it's straight away. Oh, we'll give you this medication. Yeah. You've got this. Whereas we're all different, and yet a lot of the education system is just one way.
Yeah, I don't actually agree with the education system. It's not for everyone. It's there's so much to learn out there. And I don't agree with sort of saying again, everyone's going to have different views on it, but you're suppressing how these people are by medicating them. Just get them out. There's different avenues for them, and that's where. Yeah, I would like to sort of, it's only sort of early days, but create something where these kids can go. It's school isn't for everyone.
Yeah.
And I know what it's like to sort of get embarrassed, get shut down, and then everything goes. Like I became the class clown because that was my mask I put on to get around all this. And it was just, I've always just sort of been naturally a smart ass, so it kind of came to me easily. But these people who, they don't have that mask.
Yeah.
They turn to drugs, they turn to suicide. Like they literally can't, they have no way else to deal with it.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking. Like it's really sad. So it's, I'd like to sort of focus a lot of energy. I don't know what it is yet, but in that avenue where I really do think my building skills will come into it. And one day, I don't know, I might jump back on the tools and start a business. Like I'll keep the business rolling and have my 3 jobs running and my 10 guys and go from there. So I never sort of,
So so on that, how, like there might be some young guys listening. And so just recently I had the privilege, I went and talked to some high school kids about like looking forward and what they can do and all that sort of thing. And it's something I'm passionate about, like helping the younger generation, because I believe if someone had to come to school when I was in year 7, 8, even 9, and said, what do you want to be? I would have said a builder. And they'd have said, look, to be a builder, you actually need to know accounting, you need to do this, you need to do that. I probably would have been a different person at school. Yeah. But I just thought, hey, I'm going to be a builder. I don't need this shit. Yeah, and so I paid no attention at all, was not interested. But for young guys and girls now that are at school that are struggling, because I would hate to be at school these days. Like it's 26 years since I left school, but I just think times have changed. People are really nasty. Like they were nasty when I was at school, but I think it's gone to a whole new level. And I think, especially with social media, like people never get any free time. Like they get hard time at school, they leave school, they get shit on social media. Like you just touched on, like everyone's different. So for those guys out there that feel like they're at school, the school's not for them, like have you got any advice? Like what do you think?
I'm not too sure. It's really tough. I don't have kids, and just stories I've heard from my tradies and coming through, just how cruel they are. I actually don't even think I'd put my kids in school. I think I would just bring them up on the bush and just teach them life skills. I'm
a big believer in life skills. I think life skills can be far more valuable than obviously everybody's different, but it's everything in this world. There's no one size fits all. Like everybody's different. I'm a big believer there should be different paths in school. Like
Yeah.
it's not a one size fits all.
Yeah, I do think it's if you are sort of being challenged at school and it's sort of in the academics, I think a lot of it comes down to the parenting as well. But teach your kids about meditation and breath work. I just got yelled at school by concentrate. I don't even know what the word concentrate means. Like I'm just distracting everyone. So, but teaches people about meditation and channeling that energy inside them, so they know what to do and then not suppressing it. And I know there's some teachers out there who, with the sort of the kids who don't have much of attention span, every now and then they'll just take them outside for a walk, burn some energy, and then put them back in the class. But it's probably my advice is don't be embarrassed by it. Don't suppress it. And it is hard when you feel like you're the odd one out from all your mates.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. You're not. It's the sort of what we live in now. Everyone's only worried about themselves. Everyone thinks everyone's looking at you and judging you. They're just worried about themselves and what people are thinking about them. So it's just be who you are. It's which is easier said than done, but that just comes with time. But it's don't suppress.
Yeah, all right. Well, we might we'll wrap it up, but just before we do, so for young guys out there, young guys and girls that are in the industry, or older guys that might be having a few issues, going through something like you have, dealing with contracts, clients, whatever it may be, like, what's your advice? Like, you obviously stuck through it and you've come out the other side.
Yeah, we sort of touched on a few other things before with sort of getting the business set up properly from the start. But I think what plays probably a higher part is just your mental health. Really invest. I know you have done it as well, but invest a lot of time and money into your own personal growth and development, and that will benefit the business. So I've done a couple of Tony Robbins seminars. I think you did 10X. Yeah. And it literally, you're around these people, even the breath work, you're around these people with just such high vibration and energy. It picks you up. It's a stimulant, and just keep your mental health strong. Yeah. If that means every Wednesday you got to go to the beach to recharge, go do it, because I burnt out. It was just issue after issue. And then when you're in that energy, they just keep coming. But when you're in such a positive, high energy, it goes the other way as well. Just good after good just keeps happening. You're just going, this is too good to be true. Like, how is this so easy?
It's unbelievable, eh? Like, it's like I still think I can't believe the words come out of my mouth, because people used to tell me shit all the time and I took no notice of it. But it's like the universe it follows. Like whatever you're putting out there, it just keeps following. So if you're always arguing with people, if you've constantly got issues, like one thing I definitely got stuck in was I made everything a problem. And whereas now I just make everything a solution. Yeah. Like, there's always a better way to look at it.
Yeah. And we always jump to the what ifs. Yeah. And I've been there. I probably went through a pretty tough time about a year and a half ago where I've always been a really positive person, but I couldn't shake it. It was what if this happens and what if that, and we had a few issues at work, and I just kept spiraling. I was getting anxiety, which I've never had before. So that kind of freaked me out as well. Yeah. And I'm a big believer in head doctors. I think they're great. I think everyone should go to a psychiatrist, psychiatrist and talk to these people. Like they're, you get a basketball coach, you get a football coach, but as soon as you say, hey, you need a coach for life, you're, fuck off, I don't need that. Yeah. But it's probably the most important coach you need. And he helped me through that. And it's, instead of looking at the what ifs, the bad, it's what ifs the good. What if we sign this contract and we're profitable and we have a great experience and the clients are happy, and it just changes that mindset in your head that, just saying that energy and vibration, and I'm a big believer in it as well.
So we might keep going on that. So what, like, you went to a head coach. Yeah. I think that's fantastic. Like, because a lot of, and I know myself, like back like years ago, you'd hear someone say that and you'd think, oh fuck, like what's wrong with them? They got mental issues or whatever. But talking is incredibly powerful, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Writing down, I journal as well. And I do it weekly, where it could be anything. It's how I'm feeling, what I want, just a brain dump. But journaling's so important. And even when things are going really well, journal what you're doing. What are your habits? Are you doing your ice baths? Are you eating really well? Are you getting good sleep? Yeah. And then so when you hit the tough times again, you can flick back through and go, oh, actually, I'm on my phone watching Netflix till 11 o'clock before I go to bed. Let's cut that out again.
Yeah.
So it's a reference point as well. But yeah, it's just, yeah, I think they're great. So this guy I saw 3 times is pretty expensive, but he shook it out of me pretty quick, really well. But I was talking to another lady for about 2 years. I was seeing her every 3 weeks, and not for any reason in particular, but just awareness work, really understanding my baggage, because I didn't know my baggage. I actually said to her, I said, look, I'll probably be the easiest guy because there's actually nothing wrong with me. Like, not to be like cocky, but there's nothing wrong. And she kind of smirked and said, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, and 2 years later, you're still there.
Still there, yeah, and nowhere near towards the finish line. But it's just great. It's just the awareness work around understanding yourself better. And we don't. With this Instagram world now, we just go straight to distraction. We're not digging deep. We're not working out. We're not thinking about it. Same like what you're saying, everything's just medicated.
Yeah.
Doctors don't ask now about what's your lifestyle, what's your sleep, are you going to the gym? A lot of the time it's just straight to a medication.
I think we, like obviously males and females are very different, but males, I think we get so, like we need the baggage. Like it's like we thrive on it. Like we know what we need to do to improve whatever, our business, our life, our relationship.
Yeah.
But we keep a bit of drama there. It's like it keeps us going. And like with females, I think sometimes they keep that bit of baggage there because they like to feel that they can solve it and like make everyone feel good and that type of thing. Like, but yeah, until you go and talk to someone, you don't realise how much shit you've just got hanging on, and how much it's affecting other parts of your business, your life, your relationship.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty powerful stuff.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, I'm keen as to get up this Sunday morning and go and have a crack at this.
Yeah, give it a go. Like I was saying, it's like there's a lot of love there. Like you're walking in, the guys will be there hugging you, walking in. And I remember at breakfast, like I think I spoke about the breath work, and then I got an acai bowl, and one of the guys says, "Oh, bloody, you hippie," or something like that, and your yoga, how's your yoga going? And and it is a bit of a joke, and I never take any of those things to heart, but that is the thing around it. You know, a lot of these guys are too embarrassed to go to something like this because it can seem quite feminine to go do breath work on the beach watching the sunrise, but it's not. Once you sort of get around that energy, it's it gives you a level head. It recharges you, and it's fantastic. So
no, that's awesome, mate. Look, thanks very much for popping in the shed today and having a chat. I think it's been really valuable to for everyone to hear some of like your experiences and what you've been through. Because like I said, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are going through tough times and thinking that they're the only one dealing with it. So it's really good that you've come on and you've just talked open book. And I'm really looking forward to getting you back. I'm pretty keen to see how this pans out with you looking after some kids.
Yeah, no, it's we'll have another chat about it later on. And if anyone wants to give me a call and have a chat as well, feel free to. So share my number around there, and everyone just needs to talk now and just there's no judgment, just holding space for people and just sort of hearing other people's stories and you're not alone. Everyone's doing the same thing. People just hide it better. So
all right, cheers, mate. Appreciate your time.
No worries. Thanks, Duayne.